When you feel like there is something you are here to do or create that feels too much for just you to carry, it's because it's not for just you to carry. It is for you to ask for help with. It's for you to maybe gather a team to bring it forward. And this can be personal, this can be professional. But for a lot of people, it was just a matter of letting those old cycles from that last decade complete. And there is something that we can really take advantage of as we ride into this very different energy. Everybody's talking about the year of the horse, and we really feel that. There is that momentum that's really strong. Hello, and welcome to our first episode of 2026. I cannot believe we're here, and I feel so good about it. So if you didn't already listen to the last episode, which was the full year ahead energy update for 2026, I highly recommend listening to that. But we're going to go ahead and start off the year with our first energy update of 2026, which will be for January. Here we are. I feel really good about this year. I feel really good about this month, and we're going to see where it takes us. We are in a month 2 in numerology, all about partnership and collaboration. And for some of you, this might be about romantic relationships. For others, it might be about friendships. But what I will say is the topic of collaboration in itself is so big for 2026 in general. And I really feel that a lot of those seeds are going to get planted this January. So what this looks like is coming together with new long-term partners, and it feels very collaborative in terms of projects. It also feels collaborative in terms of support with our families and living situations. So for example, let's say you might have kids and you've been looking for an amazing nanny, for example, or you've been looking for a really amazing teacher if you are homeschooling or doing outdoor school or things like that. That's just coming through pretty strongly. I know a lot of you are parents. So it feels like a lot of those pieces are going to click in. For some of you, this will look like a mentor or a coach. If you have certain goals this year and you want to learn about something, finding that right teacher or even dropping into that collaboration is really, really big, as well as you're going to feel into the people that are going to be working with you on larger projects. Let's say it could be a book or a creative project that's just for yourself, or it's a big project that you're working on within your business or your career. That is the one that's strongest. A lot of people have been getting a lot of seeds over the last couple of months before we hit 2026 that were really guiding us toward what is our deeper mission? What is that big thing that we're really here to contribute to the planet? That's been in the energy realm for most people, and for a lot of people it's landing unconsciously. It has landed unconsciously, and so people are feeling really inspired to start to take bigger action and start to gather the collaborators that you will need to move forward. When you feel like there is something you are here to do or create that feels too much for just you to carry, it's because it's not for just you to carry. It is for you to ask for help with. It's for you to maybe gather a team to bring it forward. And this can be personal, this can be professional. But I know that for a lot of people, they just simply weren't ready to ask for that support or find that support. And for some of you, that might have been a matter of healing internal resistance to being supported or a lack of trust with support, but it actually feels more like just a divine timing thing. And for a lot of people, it was just a matter of letting those old cycles from that last decade complete. And there is something that we can really take advantage of as we ride into this very different energy. Everybody's talking about the year of the horse, and we really feel that. There is that momentum that's really strong. So really think about who those key partners are. And it feels like this month there is that opportunity for divine synchronicity for them to drop into your lap. If you've been feeling like for the last year or a couple of years, you've been trying to attract in a certain type of person that can support you and you're just not finding the right fit, this month is going to feel really magnetic for you attracting in that person or even just meeting that person. So a lot of synchronistic meetings, they are saying, a lot of those seeds that you planted going into this year, starting to see the key collaborators and people who are going to support you on your journey as you start to open up this very fresh new cycle. And they just want to remind you that whatever your bigger mission is, your goals within your heart, those are being supported. Those people are trying to find you, are meant to find you, and remembering that will keep you in the right vibration so that you can actually receive that support and that help. This month for me feels very yellow. I think that was December. I don't remember though, so I could be wrong. Feels very yellow, glittery, extroverted, and also a lot of greens. That's why I decided to wear green today, because that's how I was feeling this morning. But there's a lot of heart connection. There's a lot of, again, going back to that collaborative energy, a lot of, wow, you're the person, we really align, because that crystal clean alignment is so, so, so important. You are going to feel the friction if you are trying to collaborate with people that are not completely aligned. Like, there is a perfect puzzle piece fit, and I need you to trust that. And when you find the right person, the rest of the journey is going to go so much more smoothly. But if there's something a little bit off and you don't listen to that because, oh, this person has so much experience or blah, 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 you are going to feel that friction the deeper you go down the road. And that's something that's really important to keep in mind, because again, a lot of these partnerships that we enter, these are people that we're going to be working with for up to the next decade. Like, these are really, really deep partnerships. And for some of you, you're going to meet people and you're going to feel resonance with them, and it's not going to be fully formed for you in a clear way of how you're going to be in each other's lives. That's okay. It's just a lot of those seeds being planted. So really pay attention to who's coming into your life at this moment in time this month, and what else is being revealed to you if there's still some stuff that needs to be cleared out. But there is a lot of new energy coming forward. This doesn't feel like as much of a releasing month. That naturally will happen the more we enter into the new, but this is a lot more of a crowding out type of thing, and a lot more of an explorative, curious energy comes through this January, really following those curiosities and that excitement. It feels like there are going to be things that come forward in your life that just sound fun, and it's following what sounds fun. It could be a social event. It could be a new activity. For a lot of you, that feels very physical and outdoorsy. Like I feel like someone's going to go, jumping out of a plane, like that kind of vibe, it's like, or even just indoor skydiving if you're not going to go outdoor skydiving. It's that kind of exhilaration and, whoa, I didn't see that coming, but I just got the message, or I got the opportunity, or I'm taking a trip to Hawaii or the Caribbean, somewhere tropical. It feels like somewhere tropical for some of you. So really following that and trusting where you're led, because everything you need to shift your energy in a way that's going to be aligned for you to actually attract what you need next year, it's going to be delivered to you, and you just have to say yes. Just say yes to the opportunity. So is there anything else I want to say about that? No, let's just get into the cards. Okay, thank you very much. Let's start light. I feel drawn to these. And we are going to see any big themes or messages for January 2026, please. They are just saying that this month, reminder to really, really trust yourself and really trust your own path instead of going along with what the people around you want to do, which feels like there will be some very specific things that you feel called to that maybe everybody around you isn't really that into or interested in. That's for a reason, because it's trying to bring you in a little bit of there's like a solo vibe that brings you into deeper partnership with new people. So it's really positioning you for new friendships, for new collaborations, for new levels of support. Okay, so we have healer, spiritual cleansing, boundaries, and divinity. This is so just like going back to the opening, I said this flower completely blooming. There has been so much that was getting released, ideas, people, habits in the last year, and especially in the last few months of 2025. And why that was so important is it allows us to enter January in a really fresh state. And you'll realize that one of the most common things that blocks people from their intuition is what we've been holding on to, our attachments. I have experienced every time I have released something that's no longer serving me, a friendship, any type of relationship, really. It's even been changing people who work with me in my business. It's been um, even like offers within my business. For me, it comes up a lot with personal relationships and offers in my business. I will notice an immediate shift in clarity and downloads and messages and just precision with what I am seeing and feeling. And so it's a really big opening with your intuitive awareness, because when you release the distortion energies, which are really relationships, people that are out of alignment, it starts to clarify what was already there. And so I really feel like there's been so much that's gotten released. And again, going back to this feeling of like, it's a little solo of an energy at the beginning of this month. And in that feeling of I'm solo, I can explore and I can start to feel with stronger accuracy what's aligned for me and what's not, what I'm excited about and what I'm not. And I think a really good example of this is romantic relationship. Who you choose to be in partnership with in your life for the rest of your life is a really, really big decision, because your energies become intertwined in many ways. And a lot of people start to struggle with discernment when they are in a relationship, because they get confused about what they're feeling versus what their partner wants. And that's a very real thing that requires a lot of self-awareness and a lot of, I feel, energy cleansing to be really clean with. And so there is this really strong, when we start with healer, spiritual cleansing, boundaries, divinity, the vibe of this is I have made space and I'm taking a lot of time to get clear on my daily practices. And I feel like for a lot of you, and it's funny because I've heard this a few times, like doing something kind of big that represents I'm releasing everything from 2025 and walking into 2026 with a fresh energy will be really great. Like I was just talking to somebody who is finishing up nursing school, and she was saying that she really wants to, she said, I want to do a deep spiritual cleanse. She wanted to do a retreat or something significant to close out her time in nursing school and just complete that and step into a fresh energy. And it's very much that kind of vibe. Maybe it's a retreat. Maybe it's a trip that you take with yourself. Maybe it is a significant healing session you have with someone, but it's this ritual that's really representing I'm closing up the old energies and I am stepping into something new. And I do feel like it's really important to have a guide through that. So I'd really pay attention to any healers or facilitators or guides that come into your awareness that really resonate for you, and any opportunity for you to be held in that container, because it's this spiritual initiation that helps you remember, this is where the divinity card comes back in your connection with source, and it's really going to turn on a lot of clarity for you with your intuition and your psychic senses, and be very clear for you about what boundaries you need to maintain and how you can move forward in a way where you stay really elevated in your spiritual gifts. And I always feel like it's really helpful to have experiences and times where you feel so connected, so tapped in. And then as you re-enter life, you pay attention to any of the people you talk to or experiences you have or thoughts you have or rituals you have in your daily life where suddenly that dropped you into a lower frequency. So I always think about when I'm in meditation and I'm talking to the guides, and then I go and I jump in my car and I go to the grocery store or I get to the office, and if I hold that frequency or if I let it drop. And so this is the whole concept that I talked a lot about in my first book, Manifestation Mastery, about energetic flexibility and what it means to hold your vibration. I really want you to pay attention to that. I really want you to have an experience where you feel really connected. And I want you to practice holding that and start to pay attention to the things that drop you out of it. And that's a helpful practice, no matter what, of reflecting on what are the things that, or times when have the experiences been where I felt really, really connected to the voice of my soul, what my heart says, what spirit says is so clear to me. And how can I add more of that into my life? And that can help you reflect on, from the other side, what are the things that maybe make me feel like I'm kind of pulled out of it a bit? Because there is a fortification within your field when you become really clear on the way that intuition comes through for you. In the realm of intuitive gifts, and as somebody who does this professionally, there are so many different specialties you can go into. And one of the things I tell students when I'm training them in their intuitive gifts is you are going to get the strongest messages when you stop trying to be the best at everything and when you hone in on your mastery and just go all in on that. So if that's a certain sense that's really strong for you, really, really mastering that. If that's a certain part of the frequency bandwidth you really connect in with, really going in all in on that. It's when people try to do everything at once that it can start to feel like it's watered down, when you can really go in and specialize in how it naturally comes through for you and practice holding that. You're going to notice that you always feel plugged in and you always get those answers. And what is trying to break open this month for all of us spiritually is, instead of feeling like, oh, when I do this I'm really connected and then I live my normal life. Wow, what is that throat chakra? The difference is, how can I stay plugged in all the time and have that clarity in how I feel and what my intuition is saying 24/7? What is that throat chakra about? I feel that something important to pay attention to is how your communication shifts depending on who you're talking to. That's what they're saying about that. And that's a subtle thing. For some of you, it won't be so subtle. You'll notice that you change the verbiage you use, your tone changes, your confidence changes. I want you to pay attention to that resonance, because if we can either show up with more confidence everywhere or release the places where our system doesn't feel safe, you're going to notice a huge difference in the overall frequency of your life. So this is really about spiritually fortifying yourself so that you can navigate the rest of your life and you don't have to have all these questions. Because I feel that, well, I know one of the most common things that holds people back, I mean, why do people pay me the big bucks? Because they want answers. And the reality is, you don't need me for answers. Nobody does. You just need you and yourself and the divine source, right? And so if you can learn how to get those answers for yourself, then you are going to feel confident in the rest of your life. And I always talk about how, for me, fortifying my intuition is what gives me confidence. It's what makes it so when people say stuff and they're really convincing, they try to be, doesn't confuse me. Doesn't confuse me. Intuition, being fortified in your intuition, is how you are not easily manipulated. And we need a lot of that right now. We need people who cannot be easily manipulated on this planet. Wings of light, becoming something new. That is very much the vibe as we enter into a universal 1-year adjustment, looking back and moving forward. Healing from the past. Achievement, effort plus intention. An opening heart, deep connections, water blessings. This feels very much in line with pretty much everything else we've been talking about. I'm realizing these are out of order now, but if you're watching, you'll get the vibe. A lot of the things that maybe felt hard last year and years prior are probably just going to go away. That can happen with cycles. Sometimes you just have to let the cycle complete the cycle. And there is a lot of, I'm out of the energy, and now I can see it clearly and take that lesson and teach that, embody that. But this is where energy starts to move. And I know we always want it when we want it. We want the energy to move now. We want it to work now. We want things to blow up now. Now. Really cute. It's how we are as humans. That's great. But the reality is, the timing ends up being what it's meant to be when you are actually vibrationally ready, when you actually are in vibrational alignment with that. And I think you're going to see how, as it all starts to come together right now, wow, if I had done that last year when I had the opportunity, that would have not gone well because I'm glad I didn't partner with that person, or that wasn't the right fit, or I actually ended up moving, or actually ended up changing romantic relationships, or I might have built a whole business or brand or written a whole book about a concept I actually don't believe about anymore. Things like that. And so that is the, hindsight 2020 that we can access right now. What was I even thinking about? I forget. I was meditating on something today. By meditating, I was doing energy work on myself, and I do not remember what it was, but I was checking in on something, and I asked about it, like, what's causing XYZ in my system? What was that? I don't know. Something with my solar plexus. And immediately it was like, that's not there anymore. Like, you don't need to ask the question as if it's happening now and how do you release it. Instead, the question was, oh, it's already moving. The energy's already moved. What was causing that? Like it happened in the past. And so that change of perspective is a lot of what we can access this January, which allows us to move quickly if you're brave enough to do so. And so I think the real challenge is going to be by the end of the month. Wow, I have all of the characters I need. I have all the puzzle pieces I need. Am I willing to go for it? Because I just feel like it's going to be right there for you on a platter. And the opening heart is very much what I was talking about at the beginning with that 2 energy, deep connections, water blessings, opening your heart. Like, okay, what happens when I meet people that I can actually trust? This person actually can support me in this way. Again, these are deep soulmate connections that are going to be with us for long periods of time, like years. And I have a lot to say about. I do think, I know for me, one of the things I'm really interested in right now, and I've been talking to the guides about a lot, has been about different types of soulmate connections. I think there's a lot for us to unravel there, which I geek out on. I think is really exciting. But I feel that most people are going to experience that like viscerally of different types of soulmates and the different feelings and the different level of connection. Sometimes I will tell people I'm assigned to them. Like there are people that you feel this resonance with, like, wow, like we are just really on the same wavelength. There are people that I feel a resonance with, and it's also like, I know I'm just here to help you. I know I'm here to be there for you. Like I'm assigned to you. Things like that. And there's all different types of categories I could go into, but I think you're going to really feel those different iterations of soul connection. And that can put a lot into perspective. Because a lot of you are going to realize that connections you thought were really deep, like last year, you're like, this is my divine soulmate. And you're going to be like, literally nowhere near the level I'm feeling right now. New level. Here we go. This is a very spiritual month. Wow, same stuff. The eagle, spirit, integrity, and connection to the angelic realm. Communication. The deer, gentleness, diplomacy, and the cat. Independence and healthy boundaries. Okay, we have the boundaries card again. And what do you want to say about that? I feel like every time boundaries come up, I mean, one of my favorite topics, there's a lot of misunderstanding about that, but a lot of times that card feels, or these cards with boundaries feel like you've got stuff you have to like be aware of, like watch out, not really watch out, but you get what I'm saying. It's more like an affirmation, because you're going to feel like, I need to pull away from this. It could be boundaries that you're setting with yourself. This is not just about you and other people. And boundaries help us continue relationships. Boundaries are guardrails of, this is how I move forward in my life. This is what I want in my life. And I allow things of this frequency in, and things of this frequency I do not want to spend my time or energy on. It's just that distinct. And so I do feel this month, you're just going to get really clear in yourself about, and it's important to take time to think about this, what are my values? What am I available for in my life? And what am I not? And really set up those guardrails for yourself. But the energy is a lot more like, it's going to naturally happen. You're going to feel that conviction because things aren't going to feel good and other things are going to feel really good. And they want to give you some validation of like, trust what's working for you. And if you need to be a little stricter, I'm going to say stricter with your boundaries, with what you spend your time and energy in and what you don't, just trust it. I always think about like what I do for my career. There are a lot of things I am strict about so I can be the best version of myself doing what I do. And if I had a different career, I wouldn't have to do those things. It has to do with my wellness practices, my spiritual practices, how I take care of myself, the environment I'm in, the people I'm around. When I think about, I want to show up as the clearest channel I can, it's treating myself like I'm an athlete. And what do I need to do to be the best athlete? And a lot of people don't think about their craft in that way. this month you're going to start to, and that could be in terms of your professional career, that could be who you are as a parent, that could be who you are as a partner, a spouse. It could be in any area of your life, but really thinking about like, what do I need to do to be the best version of myself in this role? And I am giving you permission and asking you to please do that. Please do that, because you're going to notice that everything moves forward a lot more quickly. That's very connected to the communication card for me about, I think there's a level of confidence in your voice that's really going to show up, because you're going to be realizing how you've been watering things down and kind of getting in your own way a lot. And so it feels like a huge activation there. But you're going to notice when you set boundaries and when you communicate as your authentic self and you stop acting from fear, your connection is going to blast online. There's so much of that. I feel, this deer card is interesting because the vibe I get more from this is it feels a lot more like co-creative, again, with collaborations, like groups. Like, what does it look like to create a community, my community of people where everyone's on the same wavelength? Like, that's what I would invite you to drop into. And is there anything you need to do to help get everybody on the same wavelength? I've been thinking a lot about, how we run different parts of our lives. Like, if you have a family, like, how are you leading your family? If you have a business, how are you leading your team? If you, whatever your career is, like, how are you showing up in leadership? What are you doing to cultivate being on the same vibrational wavelength with the people around you? There's a bit about how can I work with the people around me and make sure that I am creating culture, make sure that I am actually having conversations and not just expecting things to sort themselves out. That is a huge activation for people. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten that we have to be intentional about what we're co-creating with other people. And most people just show up and they think it's going to sort itself out. You have to be intentional. You have to set up a container, and that's an art. And so that's a lot of what I feel with that deer card, because this is where we're actually going to experience what it looks like, what it feels like to feel sovereignty and to feel independence and have healthy relationships and have healthy collaboration. Those get to go together. And most people have been teeter-tottering between those two. Like, it's really easy to be really independent and then they don't know how to be in healthy partnerships or collaborative spaces, or they're really good at being in collaborative spaces and they lean fully into that and they don't know how to be independent. And so we are asking to become masters at living in the and, not the or. All right. I'm like very on an animal kick this last couple of months. Here we go, everyone. I think I'm going to go into that specifically in a second. Okay. Page of Water. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, inexperienced. The deer. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. This has been in the air, but I know a lot of people are manifesting new friendships and new romantic love. And also business partnerships. Like, I know there's a lot of people really manifesting that person, and it's like, again, January, it's coming in hot. I think especially the second half of the month. 10 of Fire. Saint Bernard dog. You're working far too hard and the stress will soon become too much. Reach out for help from others and take some time to play and enjoy life. How can I have my collaborative community? Who can I delegate this to? I think a lot of you are going to realize you have been trying to figure something out on your own for far too long and it's a waste of your time. And when you start to outsource things in your life, you're going to notice that you get better results, faster results, and you have so much less stress, mental space. You can actually rest, you can actually sleep, you can actually focus on what you're good at. And this is true with health. Like, I mean, the number of people that just sit there and try to chat GPT and use social media to fix their gut issues and to figure out, an aligned way of eating for their body to be healthy or their exercise routine. It's like, hire a professional. Or the number of people, I see a lot of people who have businesses kind of like me, and it's like they're trying to play, they're trying to do every role themselves, and there are reasons that there are experts in certain things. Like being a marketing genius is a skill, and you could just outsource and hire somebody for the guidance and let them be in their genius, and you could be in yours. So it's really looking at that. It's going to be a dumb moment. 9 of water. Pomeranian dog. How cute. Now's the time when your dreams come true. I love that. Don't worry about how this will happen. Don't worry about how this will happen. Did you hear me? Just give gratitude for all that you have and all that's still to come. Being in the vibration. Expect it to happen. There you go. And I know you're like, yes, I'm hoping, but it didn't happen last year. It wasn't going to happen last year. It's going to happen this year. You got to know it. You got to know it. 10 of air. Siberian husky dog. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings mixed feelings of joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. This is the crowding out. This is the crowding out because someone and people are going to come in your life that really resonate, and naturally other things are going to fall away. And those people might get upset and irritated. It's not your responsibility to manage their feelings. It's your responsibility to be loving and kind and honest and do what you need to do. That's in highest alignment for you, because it's in highest alignment for everybody, even if people don't realize it in the moment, because their ego is involved. And this is the trust of the new relationships. It's just going to feel better. It's going to feel better. So you know what I want to ask to close this out, because I feel two kind of openings here, and if neither of these apply to you, then that's okay too. But I'm gonna ask quickly about anything else to know if you're attracting in a romantic relationship, because I know that is a good number of people. And then I want to ask for those people who are entering into a new phase of career, because that's another strong energy, what they need to know. So we're just going to close up like this. So for anybody who is attracting in their person that's listening, any guidance for them this month. So it's not always that your actual person is going to come in this month, but it's that the seeds are going to be planted so that you're vibrationally ready to receive them. And some of you can have that very available to you. Okay. 9 of Pentacles, King of Cups, the Lovers, 8 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and 2 of Pentacles. Okay, so here's what I would say. This is about, one, you got to think about all of the qualities that you want in a partner and really get clear on, do you also embody those qualities? It can't be that you're trying to find someone to fill in your gaps. It has to be, am I a vibrational match for that? But this is really about, again, going back to what that card said about being in gratitude. Can you sit in the energy of gratitude and really appreciate who you are and what you have created in your life? Like, there is a really important vibrational shift that happens when you really take some time to appreciate yourself. And if you need help from friends and family to really see yourself in that way, I would take that time, but that is going to be a huge vibrational shift. And the other part, and this is so classic, is, are you emotionally fulfilled within yourself? Like, do you have hobbies? That's a huge one for dating, and that's practical, and that's also energetic. Do you have hobbies? Do you have creative projects that you really love? Are you excited about things? Like, you have to have those pieces in place, and that is what brings in your partner. But there is fast energy this month and a lot of divine meetings. This is gonna be a divine timing thing. You are gonna show up at the right place at the right time. Be a yes person. Be a yes person. Do not hermit in the house this month. And I think the big thing that's going to happen for you that you're going to learn in this is you're going to be forced to learn to balance your life with a relationship. And that feels like the bigger blocker that people have had. Like, some people, their lives are too full that there's no space for that person, or they don't realize it, but they would have a really hard time managing everything they currently have and another person in their life. And so I do feel like this person is really meant to teach you and balance you out, and they're going to come your way. But I would really I'd like drop into that feeling for sure. And you just trust the timing. But I would say something very fulfilling is going to come to you this month. Like, this is fast. And the relationships that drop in, this is like these two cards. This is all fated meeting, destiny meeting. You know, we have a big sacred soulmate, divine union, twin flame thing activating really intensely right now. These fated soulmate connections are going to come forward like magnets, like, and you're going to realize I did not have to worry about all of this. Like, there was something much bigger than me happening. And so I would just be available for that. I would watch for that and leave a comment if that happens to you, because it's very much like a synchronicity. Freaking love that. Okay, and then last, I'll just end on any final guidance for people opening new phase of career, please. What they're saying is you got to get it down to like your one thing. You got to get so hyper specific, and the more specific you get, everything can move really quickly. But the biggest block is that people are not niched down enough. And when you think you've niched down enough, niche harder. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, there's some soul searching here. For a lot of you, sorry, I didn't say the cards. Six of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, King of Swords, King of Pentacles, Four of Wands, the Hermit, and the Hierophant. But you don't even care. You just care what I'm going to say about it, don't you? Okay, so a lot of you, there's some deeper soul searching. Like, the problem has been that you haven't been willing to claim who you are. You haven't been willing to claim your mastery and what makes you unique. You have to go inward, and you have to, going back to what I said in the other part with the relationships, can you appreciate yourself? But there is definitely an inward exploration and an inward exploration about how you have been getting in your own way. You have to look at that. That's so important. There is mentorship that needs to happen. So learning from other people. So this could be hiring an ads expert, or hiring a business coach, or joining a mastermind, or deeper training. There are a lot of people trying to teach things that they're not a master in, and that's why it's not working. You have to really look at if what you're trying to bring to the world is something that you actually know or you want to know. And that's a big block for people. So I'd really go back to that humility. And whenever you're helping other people, and anytime you're building a business, like, you always have more to learn. There's always more mentorship. I mean, one of the most important things for me in business has been having people that I can learn from, who know more than me, who have different connections. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly taking new trainings. I'm constantly taking new courses. It's just part of it. And I think for a lot of you, there's like a very real knowledge gap that needs to be fulfilled. But you have to look at the self-sabotage part of you, or the part of you that holds yourself back. Like, a lot of people say, like, you know, it's not aligned, so I don't want to do it. And it's not that it's not aligned. It's that it's not comfortable. But that is the growth, and that is the most aligned thing you can do. So here's the thing. I would say pay attention to, there will be something that comes forward in January that is a clear message, a clear opportunity. Somebody's going to say something to you. They're going to offer something to you. It's like, here it is. Do you want to take it? And this is your moment. This is your moment to say, am I going to keep self-sabotaging, or am I going to go big? Am I going to take the money, or am I going to find a reason why I can't do that? Where the money really comes in and the satisfaction comes in is this King of Swords energy, which is crystal clear in what you want, and what you're going to do, and what you're available for in your communication, in who you are serving and how you're showing up. It is clarity. It is cutting out the extra stuff. It is purging. It is clearing out the noise. And the two things I would say to focus on are, how can I clear out all of the noise? So if you have a scrolling habit that gets you in your head, stop. Please stop. Or if you are asking your friends for advice and they have never built, a 7-8 figure brand, then I don't know why you're asking them that, right? You have to cut out the noise first. Everything that distracts you or confuses you, goodbye. And then you need to fortify yourself with a structure that supports you. And that might look like a coach or a mastermind. I'm a huge believer in masterminds. That could look like a program you follow. That could look like a mentor of some sort. That could look like writing out a really clear plan and telling yourself, I am going to only follow this. That could look like, hiring people on your team or clarifying your team or giving people a role that's basically hold the business accountable to this, whatever the plan was. But if you do those two things, energy is going to move fast, and there is a lot of money there, but there's going to be like a clear, like, hey, money's in this direction that you need to pay attention to, and you will know. All right. So lots of new seeds getting planted, lots of opportunity, and I am really excited for what's to come this January. I really feel like 2 tools that would be helpful. In Next Level You, we have a guided energy work that is starting a new cycle. And it takes you through the energetics of completing old cycles and stepping into a new energy. And what you need to know, it's longer. I think it's about 30 minutes, but that is a really good ritual to do headed into this January. It's really going to open up a lot in your energy field, so you're not energetically holding on to that old stuff. And we also have a number of different meditations that are specifically about embodying your soul frequency. So there's one that's called that, embodying your soul frequency. I would really lock into that this month to feel that energy and see what comes up, because that's going to make your resonance signal a lot easier to discern. And it's going to be, instead of you trying to navigate this confusion, it's going to be like boom, boom, boom. Yes, yes, yes. It's very clear for me now because I know who I am and I've cut out the noise and the fog. So I'd really recommend that. You can download the Christina the Channel app on the App Store, and we have a 7-day free trial. You can also go to christinathechannel.com/membership to check that out. I want to hear from you how this landed, what's coming up for you, how are you feeling going into January, what's the vibe you feel, always what you're drinking. I have my hibiscus tea that I did not drink during this, but I was before. Always love the updates, and also I kept seeing otters, so whatever that means to somebody, I'll just leave that there. So that will complete our first energy update of 2026. I hope you have an amazing January, and I will chat with you again next time.